This is the 10 overall best colognes list from 10 of the most popular fragrance brands in the world. We took the list from Fragrantica, we took the top 10 brands, and I've picked just one cologne from each that is overall best that I would recommend to any of you guys out there. Number 10 most popular brand in the world is Versace, and for this brand I had so many fragrances that I would recommend to you guys, but in the end I had to go with the one that I know will get you crazy compliments from women, will be long lasting, and is just a nice everyday sort of a fragrance. And it is Versace Eros Eau de Parfum or the Eau de Toilette. They're very, very similar. They have this really attractive mint opening that just blasts that freshness into your face, and then you've got a nice apple, you've got a really nice tonka bean sweetness, so you've got everything. You've got freshness, you've got sweetness, you've got power, because this fragrance is kind of a monster in terms of projection and longevity. So this fragrance will cover you for most occasions, and it is one of those fragrances that smells better on the skin than it actually does on the scent strip. So if you're testing it, spray it on your skin and go around and just see how it develops, because it really smells amazing. And women, when we ask women on the street what fragrance they love, they always said that this is the most attractive, sexiest smelling fragrance when compared to other designer fragrances. So it's just a no-brainer for me to recommend to you guys. Next most popular brand is Gaultier, so it's 9th on this list. And this brand, again, I totally get why it's so popular for men. I adore men's fragrances. That is why I started this channel, because I actually didn't like women's fragrances at all. So I just went around smelling men's fragrances, and yeah, I just bought men's fragrances because I wanted to recommend them to you guys. And this fragrance is my personal favorite overall fragrance from Gaultier, and it's this Eau de Parfum Intense. It's got a long name, to be honest, but you know what I mean. You see the bottle. This fragrance to me is seductive. It's sensual. It is strong, but it's also soft. What I mean by that, it's not strong in that sense that it kind of can come across asshole-ish. It's not that sort of a fragrance. This is a guy that is very smooth. He doesn't have to like joke around and be that person that is kind of trying too hard in a room. No, this guy is smooth. All the women want him, and he smells great. This is that guy. This scent is a bit minty, it's a bit dusty, mysterious, like a gentleman's club. It's a bit vanillic. Oh, it's so good. It's very sexy. So if you're looking for a date fragrance or a cold weather fragrance, this should be your pick. Next up, we've got Xerjoff. Xerjoff is a brand that is so popular, and you might be thinking, if you know the brand, oh, she'll probably recommend Naxos. But no, I'm not a huge Naxos fan. Actually, I find that fragrance is great, but I don't know whether I would recommend it to you guys, because I don't quite believe it's totally worth spending that much on that fragrance, because it kind of smells a bit designer, actually, in my opinion. But I want you to smell great and just amazing and jaw-droppingly just amazing and gorgeous, and this one would be my pick for you. It's called Shooting Stars Starlight. This scent, it's just a moment. It's so powerful. It's got huge sillage. It's got huge projection. It's this transparent, celestial, boozy cardamom, cinnamon, a bit of spice in there, vanillic, but really light and boozy vanillic, caramelly sort of fragrance. It's unlike anything you've ever smelled. Like, I promise you, this is a fragrance that once you smell, you'll be in love with it. So even if maybe this is not in your budget, try it out, at least sample it. I'll link my favorite sampling website for you down below, because in my opinion, fragrance shouldn't be just limited to like, oh, people who can afford a really expensive Xerjoff fragrance, this is only for them. Like, you can always get a sample and also experience that for yourself. And this fragrance is signature worthy. It's head-turning fragrance. It's absolutely underrated in my opinion, and it should be the top of your Xerjoff buying list. Next up, we've got Chanel, and I'm quite surprised it's so low, because Chanel, it's like one of the most popular brands in the world, but obviously not that popular. But on this list, there's again so many fragrances, but I went with standard Bleu de Chanel Parfum, not only because I personally go crazy for this fragrance, I'm loving the Parfum version and the Eau de Parfum. Those two are my favorite versions. But there is something about this one that is just no-brainer. It's a fragrance that I believe every single guy out there should at least once in their life own, because it's that amazing. Like, I own so many fragrances, but yet this is a fragrance that I recommend to any guy. Like, any guy asks me, I'll say just get yourself Bleu de Chanel, because the compliments that you get, the scent profile, this woody masculine rawness that is in there, it's also such a classic fragrance. It's Mercedes-Benz of fragrances. It's so good, it lasts, it's as good as they say. It is, just get it. Next up, we have Guerlain, a classical French brand, and this brand is very lucky because they just released my new favorite designer fragrance, and it is L'Homme Ideal, but the Parfum version. I was obsessed with the Eau de Parfum, but man, I'm totally just won over with this fragrance. It's unbelievably good. It's good to the point of like, I want to literally cry. I know I get really emotional about fragrances, but you know, fragrance goes straight to your emotions. Like, it doesn't care about your logical brain. And this scent is just nutty, amaretto, cherry, boozy, rich smelling. Oh, it is so romantic, so sexy. It also lasts, because the Eau de Parfum didn't last as well as I would like. So this is why it has to be on this list, because it's overall best. They improved the scent DNA, the performance, and the scent is just amazing. If you want something designer that doesn't smell designer, that could be niche, go for this, because this, the quality, the scent profile, yeah, you could tell me that you are wearing a 500-pound fragrance, and this, I would believe you, because it's so good. So we've got YSL, and this one is a bit hard for me, because what I scent-wise love the most would be the La Nuit de l'Homme Eau de Toilette. But what I would say is an overall best fragrance to recommend to you guys would be the YSL Y, the intense version, because it's got amazing projection, amazing longevity, whereas this one just lacks in that longevity department a little bit. So I would say go for this one, because it's super masculine smelling. It's a white t-shirt, jeans sort of a fragrance. It's super casual, great smelling. Like, if you're a guy's guy, that this fragrance is always to me like a guy's guy, like a dude. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm sure you know what I mean. You know, a bro that loves that sort of banter atmosphere with their friends. This is that sort of a fragrance, but a bit upgraded, because the intense version smells a bit more expensive, a bit more wealthy. Actually, one of the women that we asked about this fragrance, she said, yeah, this smells like this guy has got money. So despite the fact you might not have money, but if you want to smell like you've got money, then YSL Y Intense would be your pick.
If you smell like that, I think you've got money. That sounds really bad. You do smell more expensive.
It's just a great, fresh, blue, everyday fragrance. No-brainer. Now, next up, for the fourth most popular brand in the world, it's Armani. And for this fragrance, I'd say if you want to smell like James Bond, get this fragrance, because this is an amazing one. It's Armani Code Parfum. Why it's the overall best, and I would recommend this one from the brand for you, because again, longevity, projection, I know you guys care about that. This one has got it all, and it also smells super sexy. This one is a more seductive, sexy fragrance. To me, there's seductive, sexy, and there's like confident, sexy. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but there is those two sort of sexy fragrances for me. This is more seductive, sexy. It's again minty, super fresh, like shower fresh, but also a bit dusty. I think there is a theme here, like that dustiness that is also in Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Parfum Intense. If you love that, you'll for sure love this. This one, I would say it's even more crowd pleasing. You'll get compliments left, right and center. For this one, it's just a killer sort of fragrance, and I think it's one of those that men don't usually go for. Like if they're going for a designer fragrance, they'll go for Dior Sauvage or they'll go for Chanel, but Chanel. This one is a bit different, so if you want something a bit different but still very compliment getting, very crowd pleasing, then this smells just this smells like a James Bond movie, like all the gadgets. He's wearing this super nice tailored suit. He's smooth, he's sexy, he is ambitious. This is that sort of a fragrance.
Exactly what kind of banking do you specialize in, Mr. Bond?
Hostile takeovers. Shall we?
Third of the most popular brands, it is Lattafa, and I allowed this one because although they dupe many popular fragrances, they also have started making their own fragrances, so I'm allowing them to be on this list. Subscribe actually, because I will be buying loads of Lattafa fragrances and rating them soon, so if you want to see that, subscribe. This is a great brand because they've got really affordable fragrances. They're duping popular fragrances and doing it very, very well, I have to admit that. And my personal favorite that I would recommend to any guy out there would be Assad. This scent is an excellent dupe for Dior Sauvage Elixir. So good. They're nearly indistinguishable. If you really smell them closely, they are, but overall for like everybody out there, this is a great bitter green scent profile. It's truly like a gentleman's cologne. It's such a great smelling fragrance, super masculine. This is not like your unisex fragrances. This is like a manly, masculine guy scent, projecting, just really strong. So yeah, if you want a great dupe of that fragrance, this is number one for me. Next up, second most popular brand in the world is Tom Ford. And for this one, it was a no-brainer decision for me. I just went straight for this fragrance, and it is Oud Wood. This fragrance is insanely good. It is one of those fragrances that to me just is so raw and sexy. I know blue fragrances are that, but there is something about this scent that to me it's just dreamy. Like this, if fragrances were guys and I had to just pick one from this list, it would be it, because I'm in love with the scent. It is just woody, dry. It smells amazing on the skin. It really changes a little bit and will suit your skin and will smell a bit differently on you. The scent projection is also great. Like when my husband wears this one, he gets compliments everywhere, literally post office, like when he was in a lift one time, from strangers. This fragrance just is one of those that whether you are somebody who's super into fragrances or you just don't care for them, you'll love this scent. It's good, it's worth every single penny. And I have smelled so many niche fragrances that try to smell like Oud Wood, and designer fragrances or like cheap dupes that are supposed to smell like Oud Wood, and there's something about this one that still just is the best. There's this lightness, sexiness that this one has, that niche fragrances often, they make this fragrance a bit too heavy and it loses that lightness and sexiness that this fragrance just captures amazingly. So this is my speech to say, try Oud Wood, don't sleep on it. This is number one for me personally. Now for the most popular brand in the world and my personal favorite to recommend to you guys fragrance, it is the real deal Sauvage Elixir from Dior. Although Assad is a great dupe, I would say that this is just better. It's more refined. For a nose like me, I can tell that this is just so much more natural smelling. It's also a bit sweeter. It's also a bit more herbal. You just get more of this 3D scent profile. The Assad one is like straight in your face, very aggressive. This one is very strong. Like this, don't get me wrong, this is such a strong fragrance, but it is just a bit softer, like it just is more pleasant to smell. And I love the scent. This is gorgeous to me. I love so many Dior Sauvages, but this one is just killer. It's got this a bit of this old classy, like old movie sort of a scent to me. It just smells a bit like nostalgia, but it's still very modern. It's got best of the blue fragrance sphere, but also of this like proper barbershop sort of a fragrance sphere. They just put it all in there, and this fragrance is killer. Gets compliments like crazy. It's super strong, as I said. Like, don't underestimate how strong it is. So for any guy out there, this is a no-brainer, blind buy worthy fragrance. It's absolutely amazing. I'll link all the fragrances and samples for them in the description box underneath this video, and let me know and the audience know 3 of the best fragrances you have ever smelled and you would recommend to any guy out there. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.